Hey guys and gals, it's me Blair Rocket, and today, of course, we're gonna be reviewing X-Men Dark Pheonix. Yeah, X-Men! Lena, Wolverine isn't in this movie. Oh. Okay. Really? That's all you planned for a skit? Well, what do you expect? We're only 3 videos in after, Endgame. You really expect me to plan something even bigger for this sketch? I don't know, I was thinking of something more crazier, who knows, maybe the Interrupter could show up or something like that. Really? You really think the Interrupter is gonna appear in this video? What? So yes, we're gonna be reviewing X-Men Dark Pheonix today, and it's not just gonna be a review this time. I want to do something a bit different. I also want to rewrite this movie. Yeah, sure, I know there are some good parts about this movie. I don't think it's like completely, I feel like I should change everything. There are still a lot of interesting ideas and good stuff that they have in this film, and I will be talking about it, hence the review part, of course. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today. It's going to be a review slash rewrite of X-Men Dark Pheonix. So of course, let's start off this review while, putting up this. So for the opening of this movie, I kind of feel like you should start off with, Charles Xavier narrating instead of Jean Grey. I understand why they put Jean Grey because, this is kind of focusing on her in this movie. Jean Grey is the main focus of this movie, and I really appreciate that since, this is Dark Pheonix. But I feel like since this is going to be the last X-Men movie, I feel like it's best if Charles Xavier is the one who narrates. So yeah, of course, as like a last hurrah. And I feel like instead of opening with, the origin of Jean Grey and how she became an X-Men, I feel like it's best that we start off the movie with, about the aliens in the movie and what's up with the Dark Pheonix actually, because we never get a clear explanation. We do get it, but it's not really that clear, so I feel like it's best we have some kind of backstory, something similar to Apocalypse in a way, how we did in X-Men Apocalypse. But yeah, after that I kind of feel like it would be cool to actually have the regular intro, like similar to, of course, X-Men, X-Men 2, X-Men Apocalypse, X-Men Dark Days of Future Past, but something more similar to the first X-Men, because this is going to be the last movie. We should have a last hurrah to everything because yeah, that's how they do it. Something, because I kind of feel like this should be like the end game to X-Men. Well, not literally like end game, but yeah, I feel like it would be cool if they kind of make it like it's the intro's mostly about the Phoenix. There's flames everywhere, and also have this idea where at the end of the intro is the flame just comes towards the screen, but then the X-Men door, the classic X-Men door shuts it closed, but then it doesn't hold for long and then it just bursts out the door and then the movie begins properly. So after the intro, I kind of feel like this is the best time to put Jean Grey's origin. Of course, the whole thing of, Jean Grey loses control and then later on Charles Xavier brings her in. I feel like nothing has to be changed there. That introduction to Jean Grey is fine, so I don't think we need to change that. Then after that, maybe instead of just making it like, the intro to the movie, of course, as we changed it already, this maybe could be like a flashback that Jean Grey is happening, maybe when she's just sitting down and thinking about something, I guess, maybe something like that. But yeah, after that, she's been called because, of course, there's an accident with a spaceship, and of course the X-Men go. As usual, I feel like there's nothing need to be changed there because, this is where the Dark Pheonix comes, so I feel like nothing needs to be changed there. When I was watching the movie, I realized that Mystique's behavior is kind of different now. She's kind of more against what Charles is doing and the actions of the X-Men of whatnot. So I kind of feel like this could have led her into becoming the bad guy again. But they didn't do it because, they killed her off. And I understand why they did this because, this is going to be the last X-Men, so this wouldn't really end the X-Men, so yeah. I feel like they could have not done that because, of course, first of all, the most obvious answer as to why they should not do this because, Days of Future Past happened and we saw in the future some of the X-Men are still alive, But one of my main reasons for me is that I kind of feel like they should have done something else. I kind of feel like they should have made it like it all comes full circle because this movie takes place in 1992. and just a few years later, it's gonna be the first X-Men. Well, not exactly, because we know that Days of Future Past kind of changed things, but we still know it exists thanks to Logan. But yeah, I kind of feel like that's what they should have done. Feel like, you know, everybody goes into the positions, the main positions that they're supposed to have since day one. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's what they could have done, and that's what I'm going to be doing in this rewrite. So moving on, the scene where Jean Grey meets his father and, you know, goes all crazy. I feel like that doesn't need to be changed, except, you know, Mystique doesn't die, of course. And I feel like, yeah, that, you know, I don't think I need to change anything else besides that, because, you know, I feel like that's a really interesting scene. So yeah, that's all for that. But I feel like this really, of course, affects, you know, the X-Men as we see in the movie, which is interesting, of course, because, yeah, the X-Men have become a lot more untrustworthy after the Dark Pheonix incident at a, you know, a small neighborhood. And I feel like this could lead into, you know, some of the X-Men agreeing with Mystique on, you know, Charles Xavier's actions are not really that great. So I feel like, yeah, this could lead into some of them. So, and who are those some people? Well, I kind of feel like it could be, well, could be, we're making a script. I mean, like, it should be Nightcrawler and Quicksilver. I know that sounds weird considering their characters, but to be honest, I kind of feel like they should be done because, you know, well, they were originally bad guys. I mean, Nightcrawler was originally, you know, a bad guy in X-Men 2. I mean, come on, he almost killed the president. And for Quicksilver, I mean, come on, he's the he's the son of Magneto, of course, and of course in the comics, he's a bad guy. Even in Avengers, they put him as the bad guy until, you know, he becomes a good guy and, you know, died. But, yeah, I kind of feel like those are the two X-Men who should agree with Mystique on that, you know, matter. So after the two X-Men agree with Mystique, they decide to go off and, you know, find Magneto in order to convince him to help them, you know, find the Dark Pheonix in order to kill her, or maybe to just, you know, bring her to their side, of course. So yeah, this kind of leads into the same premise as last time, where, you know, they find Dark Pheonix at a building at the streets, and they met the X-Men and they fight. So yeah, it's just that, you know, they're two different teams now. It's different teams, of course. So yeah, but it still leads into the same conflict as last time, as where they, you know, they get captured and they become more untrustworthy, which is very interesting because I kind of feel like this could lead into, you know, how the X-Men are back in the originals, where they're there, the X-Men are just, they're still, you know, they're in, you know, Earth, they're happy to just live their lives, but they're kind of untrustworthy, and you know, the humans are not really that cool with the mutants. So yeah, I kind of feel like this kind of leads into that. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do in the script, of course. So yeah, let's move on. So of course this leads to everybody getting captured and, you know, being sent on a train to prison and all that. And I feel like this is the best time for Charles Xavier to talk to everybody and admit that he was wrong, and, you know, the people who disagree with him have all the right to be angry with him and all that, and he will be okay, and it's fine that, you know, they have to fight each other later on in the future or something like that. So yeah, I kind of feel like that's an interesting way to, you know, put it. So, you know, everything will go into, you know, how it is later on in the future. So yeah, of course, but of course now they don't have to do that right now because, you know, the aliens are here and they want to get Jean and try to, you know, destroy the world or something like that. I forgot what they wanted to do, but yeah, before they, you know, they get the Dark Pheonix. So of course this leads to them uniting and fighting them one last time before they part ways. So of course this leads to the similar train sequence. I feel like one scene that should be kept is the one with Nightcrawler saw somebody die and then he becomes all crazy and kills a lot of people. And I found it interesting because it's, you know, it's kind of similar to how he, you know, fights in the X-Men 2, where he tries to kill the president. So yeah, I kind of feel like this should be kept in order to, you know, show him that he's going to become a more vicious fighter after, you know, they part ways. The scene where Charles Xavier tries to enter Jean's mind, but then, you know, Jean enters Charles' mind and they talk. I kind of feel like that's a very interesting scene. I feel like that should also be kept as well. But I feel like it should not be taking place in the train because I kind of feel like that's too soon. So I feel like maybe once they're in a big, you know, battlefield, you know, the one that we saw at the very end, I feel like maybe Charles tries to go to her mind and that happens. That will be better. So yeah, and then later on, of course, you know, Jean decides to, you know, fight back, you know, and help his friends, of course. So, you know, she helps destroy him, but it's not only her alone. So I kind of feel like it's more satisfying if she fights with all the other X-Men as well. And of course, the last scene in in the original cut, of course, the Jean kind of goes up into space and destroys the last alien. But I feel like that should not be something, because of course we saw him saw her still alive in Days of Future Past. So I don't think that should be a great way to end it all, because of course we're trying to make this all full circle. So the best way to do it is that just let her explode, but not actually explode into a million pieces. But yeah, as for the ending, since Jean Grey survives, and unlike the original one, which is still an interesting ending, because they renamed the school after Jean Grey, and surprisingly Charles retires because all of the actions that he's been doing. It's still an interesting ending in the original. But for this one, since we're trying to make it full circle, it's gonna be ending off like this. So this leads into they're gonna cut to maybe the X-Men trying to go to a new mission. Charles and Beast having a little chat. Maybe Charles is like, everything's back to normal, huh? And then Beast is like, yeah, it's just that it's 5 of us only now. And then Charles is like, well, yeah, you have to search for new candidates. He'll say something like that, and then maybe Beast will describe maybe a certain familiar faces that we see later on in the original trilogy. Maybe he could mention like Iceman, or maybe Colossus, or maybe even Rogue, or maybe even Wolverine. Maybe Wolverine should be like the last one. And yeah, he would be like describing him like, oh, there's also this guy that people have been saying that they have saw, like that there's a person with metal claws or something like that they found out about, and they'd be like, and the Charles is like, that sounds familiar, or something like that, because he met him of course in Days of Future Past. So yeah, this leads into Charles saying goodbye to Jean Grey especially, as well as the other X-Men as they go off into another mission. Maybe the X-Men are also wearing the original black suits. I know people don't really like the black suits nowadays, because of course we need comic accuracy now. So with that said, alright guys and gals, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review slash rewrite. I know it's more of a rewrite than a review, but yeah, I kind of feel like I have more ideas to say than what my opinions are. So I kind of feel like it'd be best to make this as a review slash rewrite. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I don't think it's gonna be like a full-on series, just like a one-off thing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I had all these ideas coming through my mind and just spewing out all at once. I know you cannot really see it, but that's actually how I feel like when in my mind. So yeah, I'm glad to actually show what I think of this movie, and what I have for the ideas of my version of this movie. So yeah, so of course later on I'm gonna be making another video. I have another review planned, and that's gonna be an actual review this time. So yeah, next time we meet, hopefully of course, I don't think there's gonna be any interruption. If there is, I'll try to do something about it. So yeah, I'll see you guys then when I review Men in Black International. So yeah, I'll see you guys then. Until then, rock it on.